Hi, how you doing? So welcome to this week's One Image My Edit. So this week I'm going to show you how to create your own brush in Photoshop. And what you'll be able to do with that is adding clouds to an image to make it look realistic and quite dramatic. So if you look here, you can see there's the before and there's the after, just adding in them clouds. So to do this, let's come over to here. So this is obviously just a picture of a cloud, so you want to take a picture of a cloud, or you can download one from a stock library. What you want to do is make sure that the image size is no more than 2500 pixels. So let's just type in 2500, and that's because the brush that we're going to be making our own individual brush. They can't be more than 2500 pixels wide or height. So that's what the first thing we need to do. Second thing we need to do is come up to, so we want to create the brush in our channel section here. So to do that, just go to Window and then select Channels, and you'll see that this appears. And what we want to do is click on the red, green or blue, and we want to find the one with the most contrast. So in this case, it is the red. So once we've done that, we want to press Command or Control to select it, and you'll see this little box appears at the top there. So click on that, and now it's selected the cloud. You can see there what it's done. Now what we want to do is make a new channel from that. So we want to come down all the way down to the bottom where it says down here, it's like a square with a circle for it. Click on that, and that has now made a new channel called the alpha channel, and you can see there that's what that is. So once we've done that, come up to the Lasso Tool up here, and then come into the middle of the actual picture, a right click, and then select inverse. So once we've selected the inverse, we then come up to the top and go to Image, and then go to Apply Image. And then once we've done that, you just need to make sure the blending mode on here is on multiply, and then press OK. So once you've done that, then what we need to do is just darken the image a little bit. So we're going to press Control Command L, and that'll bring up your levels adjustment. Bring in the black, so bring the blacks right in, and the idea with this is just to make the background dark. So we're just going to push that in there, press OK, and let's go to our brush tool up here and make sure that the color is black. You can press X on the keyboard and that will switch it over, and then let's just paint in. So I'm just painting in areas with the black that are around the actual cloud, just so we don't get this sharp square edge when we create the brush. So we're just basically telling Photoshop these areas we don't want to include on our brush. So as long as you get most of this side of the edges, you should be good to go. Okay, so once you've done that, you then want to, on this, you want to inverse the selection. So press Command I, and you'll see it will go a bit of a silly color, and then press Command or Control A, okay, to select everything, and then Command or Control C to copy everything. Then we want to come up to the channels up here where it says RGB, click on that so it selects all of them, and then from there we want to go to the layers panel, and now we want to add a new layer. So come down to the bottom here and click on add new layer. You can see there we've got a new blank layer, and then press Control or Command V to paste that. And what that's done is now just paste everything that we've just made. So once we've done that, then we want to come up to Edit and then select Define Brush Preset. So click on that, and let's just call this Cloud 1. Okay, now we've done that, if you just press F5 on your keyboard, it will bring up the brush settings. And what we want to do is come up to Shape Dynamics up here, and we want to increase the jitter size up here. So let's just increase that to about 30–40%. And you want to also increase the angle jitter as well. So you can see what that's doing there. It's just changing the angle. And then from there, come up to brush tip shape at the top there. And from there, we just want to add some spacing in there. You can see what that's going to do. So if we clog that right up, it's not going to look like a cloud. So I reckon about 30%, something like that. That's usually good. And then from there, we want to come up to the top here and click on the 3 lines and click add new brush preset. And we want to call this clouds number 2 and press OK. So what we've now done is created a second brush, but this time it's got the dynamics on it. So it's got the way that it will actually, when we're clicking, it will change shape and it won't, therefore won't create repeated patterns. Okay. So the next stage is to, if we come up to, let's just close that for a second. Let's just close that down. If you come up to the actual brushes at the top here, you can see this is the same what we just had up, but it's just easier for you to see it larger. So if we have click on soft round brush and then press F5 to bring it up in this dialog here, and you'll see on the side it's down here, it's got dual brush, which is here. So if we select that and then select the brush that we just created, which for me it was this one here, and what that's going to do then is give us a soft brush but with that texture with them settings. Okay, so from here what we want to do is just increase the scatter, increase the spacing, and I'd leave the count on about 1 or 2. I think 1's probably better actually. So just increase that, and this is kind of what the brush is going to look like. So once you've made them small adjustments there, just come up to the side up here and go to new brush preset, and this is the one that you want to name as your final brush. So it could be final cloud brush, and there we go, it's there, it's that one. So now we've created that brush. Every time that we come into Photoshop, we won't have to do that ever again. We can just come up to the brush here and we can see final cloud brushes there. You can then delete the rest of them because they were just used to help build up to get this particular brush. So let's come over to our image then, and I'm just going to take these off here. There we go. So this is the original image. Obviously there are some clouds in this already, but we just want to add a few more and just blend them so they look real. So the first thing you want to do then is I'm going to come up and add a solid color. I'm going to add white, press OK to that. I'm going to come back to the fill there and press Command I. I'm going to invert that. And once I've done that, I want to come over to the color palette over here where these colors are. You can press X and that will toggle between, or you can press these arrows here. And then what we want to do is obviously making sure the flow's down to around 50%. We can make the brush smaller by pressing the bracket keys, and then we can just start clicking. So if we click and drag, we get the same cloud. But if we dab, so if you've got a Wacom pen, it will work really well. I'm just using a mouse at the minute, but you can use both. By clicking, you'll see that the clouds actually change direction. So that's what that jitter setting was. So by doing this, it just means we're going to get a bit more of a realistic looking cloud. Okay, so then what we want to do is come over to the black and let's just drop this flow a little bit more and just go over some, because what that's going to do is just break up the clouds a little bit. There we go, it's just taking that sting out of the clouds and it's just bringing the color back through on the background. And then what we can do is we can change the opacity as well. We can drop that just to make that a little bit more realistic as well. And again, we can make our brush bigger and create bigger clouds there if we wanted to. Okay, and finally come down to the bottom, and if we add a levels adjustment At this time, click on the clipping mask here. So this just clips it to the clouds. We can then make the clouds brighter or darker by changing the levels here. So what you'll find is because of this particular picture, because of the colors, we're just going to bring the whites down here, and that will just give it a little bit more of a realistic look. There we go. So if you look at that, let's just go to the history, press on the camera, and you'll be able to see the before and after. So there's the before, there's the after. So you can get a pretty realistic looking image there with them clouds. So I hope that's helped. Have a good Christmas, and I'll see you on the next video.